and welcome to another episode of Community. Okay, this one's a weird one. Maria and I are here in Dallas, and we're having the best time already. We've been together for 5 minutes.
And we're matching.
We didn't even come like this. We met here. We're both wearing blue dresses with collared shirts. You must watch this on YouTube. It's so embarrassing. It's so embarrassing.
Twinsies.
Twinsies.
I think we're just telepathic now, maybe.
Yeah. We were just laughing about this beforehand because we just shared our locations with each other because it was about damn time.
It was about damn time.
Right?
Yeah.
It was time.
Yeah, I think you might be the only non-family member that has my location.
Well, yeah, I need it. I needed to know.
My parents just got it recently, so you're lucky.
I would never give my parents my location.
Oh, really?
No, they would be there all the time. I'd be at Costco, they'd be there. I'd be out, they'd be out. Josh has it, you have it, Kieran, Jen. That's it. Yeah. Anyway, that's it.
Well, glad I made the cut.
Just barely. So today, we're going to talk about what we retired from. And this is a trend where people talk about things that they've retired from because we are in our 30s, early 30s, both of us.
Wow.
I'm still early 30s.
I've crossed that bridge.
And I only have a few months of early 30s, then I get into the mids. But, right?
No, I think you're still in the earlies for one more year.
Okay, great.
And the mids maybe the following year.
Perfect. Great. That's good for me to process out loud. But we want to talk about something that we've retired from because we get a lot of advice. Obviously, when you're on social, you get all the advice from all the people, but like every platform that you should be on, right? So we fall trapped to this. And Ben on our team, who will listen to this and edit this and think about this, I'm always like, Ben, people are posting on Substack. Ben, people are doing this. And then Ben spends the next 3 days researching it and tells me why we should or should not do. And sometimes it works. LinkedIn, it really worked.
Mm-hmm.
We did a great episode, me and Ben on LinkedIn, you guys should listen to. But there have been things that haven't worked. And this thing in particular, every once in a while, I'm kind of ooh, do we do this? Some people do this, and some people are successful with it. Should we start doing it? There's a lot of reasons why we don't do it. And what is it, Maria?
I was just going to say, I'm so glad Ben's here now because it used to be me that you would have to implement these ideas. And this was one that I was very reluctant to implement and that I finally pushed you over the edge into retirement on, I think.
Yeah.
Or maybe you came to your own conclusion. But
A mix, I think. We'll talk through it.
one way or another, we retired from TikTok.
Bye, TikTok. We're not on TikTok anymore. Well, we watch TikToks, and we send each other dog videos. And that's about it. That's all I'm doing on TikTok these days because I actually don't think TikTok's that helpful for our business.
No.
And
we gave it the good old college try, so
yeah.
Maybe we can dive into that.
Yeah. So one of the things I noticed about TikTok, so we'll tell you a little bit of our backstory of how we were doing and what we were doing on TikTok, which to be honest, wasn't a ton.
No.
But we were posting some of our cross-posted reels onto TikTok. We were doing podcast clips on TikTok, and they weren't really generating a lot of traffic. We really felt that we were trying, and the things that would do so well on Instagram would do so poorly on TikTok. And we get it, right? Stuff that does really well on LinkedIn doesn't typically do great on Facebook. Stuff that does great on YouTube Shorts might not do so well on TikTok. We know this. But we really wanted TikTok to work for us, and so we posted a number of times on there. We did make some specific content that did work. We would do highly professional content, kind of like this, where we would post kind of little reels of us, giving some hot takes or some thoughts. But it didn't really resonate or convert.
No, we were hitting those, 30, 40 views for
Yeah.
a while. I think we got up into the hundreds.
So we were consistently at the 200 mark, and then there were a few that got a few thousand. But I could not say any money has been made from TikTok or any email subscribers or anything. There's no one I've ever met who's been I saw you guys on TikTok, and we were posting every day.
And I feel like this is the hard thing about TikTok is you can have such a following and it can result in nothing. And I think that happens a lot of the time, especially for Canadian creators because they don't have the creator fund. So you really do have to drive those people somewhere, right?
Yeah.
To buy something or to follow you elsewhere or to be a part of your community in some way. And I feel like when people are on TikTok, they're really focused on consuming.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually used to do TikTok for Baskin Robbins when I worked there. And I just started the account for our location, and I think we got I was getting 50,000 views on posts and people really just wanted to watch me make cakes, which I can't blame them.
Was your face in them, or was it just your hands?
No, just my hands.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're gonna leave it.
I'm asking the important questions.
Yeah. Maria's also retired from OnlyFans.
Sometimes I would get some of the guys to help me, and then people would be like, "Don't show the guy's arms, show me your arms." I'm like, "Okay, this is too far."
Gross.
But it was shocking to me how easy it was to get so many views, so many likes, so many followers, and how little came from that.
So I think that TikTok works for certain people really well. So this is the thing, like every platform, and we're not on all of them, like we don't have like a Reddit channel, like we're not monitoring a Reddit channel, we're not on Quora or whatever that thing is called, like that's not our marketing. Like we've really niched, I think. Pinterest has been part of our strategy, Instagram has been part of our strategy. I don't know why I said Pinterest first, like we're Pinterest mavens. LinkedIn has been a big part of our strategy. We've done some Facebook stuff, email marketing, obviously podcasting has been a big part of our strategy, but not so much TikTok. And I think if TikTok had taken off, maybe we would have given it more, but we did give it an honest shot. And what that made me realize is that sometimes, there's certain things that platforms are asking for, and you need to figure out if you're willing to do.
Such a good point.
And that is the truth of every platform. With Instagram, I think you need to be willing to build community. You need to be willing to be the DMs. You need to be willing to show up in your stories. You need to be willing to post the occasional reel. Like those are all things that are kind of like necessary. With LinkedIn, there's a professional element that comes with that. People are getting a little like spicy over there now, but like it used to be very professional, and it would be very like, Ben and I are finding that most of the stuff that is best is like more personal, but with a professional spin. Like I'm speaking at a conference. I'm doing this. It's not like I'm, just like hanging out or at home pictures of me and my dog, right? Like no wedding pictures are going up on there. So it's a different feel. But with TikTok, I don't think you and I are particularly interested in making entertaining content.
Also, the workload.
Yeah, the workload was too much.
It was too much for me. It was too much. I think you just have to be so, and maybe this is just because we're older millennials. You have to be so comfortable with video. You have to be so willing to make a ton of video content. And it has to be engaging, quick moving, authentic, give people that value. And it's like all video.
Yeah.
And like, in my mind, that was just too much work.
Yeah. Well, and it's a very particular type of video. It's like kind of raw. Like you don't even need to be particularly talented, which I'm not. So that's why I actually thought I would be a good fit. But it's because I was like, oh my gosh, this is gonna be so great for people because I'm good at talking, which is kind of what you need, is like to be able to hold a camera and talk to it and tell a story, which I would say I'm a more gifted storyteller from like kind of my writing and like that kind of thing. So I thought this was gonna be great. And then we did a few videos and they were kind of like, meh, meh. And I think it's also because I don't know that our customers are on TikTok.
I don't think they are. And I think this goes back to the very first podcast episode you and I ever recorded together in that hotel room in Toronto, which I was so nervous for. I've come so far, guys.
She's come so far.
But we were talking about what platforms to be on. And we were,
yes.
It was all about like party where your people are.
Yeah,
our people are not on TikTok.
No, they're not.
They're not.
No. And I think actually two things about TikTok that I think, I'm not trying to convince people not to do it, just to be clear. Like if you're seeing success there, like go you. I just don't, so that's great. But this is a message, right? Like we're social media managers. Like if we don't want to be everywhere, you don't have to be everywhere. So if you're looking for that permission, here it is, girlfriend.
And I think if you're trying something and you put a lot of effort into something, we have this idea of like, oh, I've invested so much time in this. I've put so much work into this. I learned about TikTok. I made all these videos. I'm starting to get a bit more views, but you still are feeling like it's not worth the ROI. It's okay to let it go.
Yeah.
Don't let the time you've invested stop you from spending your time in the future on something that's going to be more valuable to your business.
Yeah, we see this all the time. We recently had an experience like this.
It's like the sunken cost fallacy. Is that what it's called?
Oh, I don't know. It got really businessy there for a sec.
Yeah. There's a term for it. But it's not just about business. It could be like relationships or anything.
Oh.
Let's not get into that. Save that for the next episode of Call Her Community. It could be anything. Like, because you've spent time in the past investing in it and you've come this far and you've worked on it, if it's no longer serving you, just because you've invested time, doesn't mean it's too late to pivot.
100%. And you can take those learnings and just like put them elsewhere, right? That's why I think it's so great that actually like most of the platforms are asking for similar content to what TikTok's asking for. Because you can take a lot of those TikToks you were posting and like put them on Pinterest or put them on Instagram and see how they perform. And TikTok eats first typically, like I find with trends.
Yeah.
So if you're seeing things that are great on TikTok, I know shortly they're coming on Instagram. Like any day now, people are going to be putting dogs in pots. Because right now the Trump sound is like really big. They're the dogs, they're the cats. They're the pets of the people who live there. Like it's in my head constantly. And people are putting their like golden retrievers in pots, and I think it's so funny. But like it's coming. It's coming to Instagram. And by the time you listen to this is all gone and the election's probably over. But it's just interesting because I think what we find is that we feel so like we need to like do. And I think two things about TikTok that are really important for us to know. One is that TikTok serves a younger audience. Mm-hmm. So if you are not selling to younger people, it's like if you have a coaching program that's not for teenagers or like people in their early 20s, I don't know that it's a fit. Products, I think, can do very well on TikTok. Mm-hmm. I think product-based businesses have a very unique advantage there because people are consuming. Mm-hmm. So they're buyers. But a lot of the things that our clients sell require a deep amount of know, like, and trust. Mm-hmm. That you could follow someone on TikTok and never see them again. So for me, it's like if the know, like, and trust isn't there, it's probably not valuable.
Yeah, I totally agree. It's funny you say that about products because I never thought about that on TikTok, but as a user, I totally get it. And I think it stems from people really want value and entertainment when they go to TikTok. Mm-hmm. And it's so easy to weave a product into that value and entertainment. It's not so easy to be like, you want a podcasting package? You want a social media done for you service? You know? But it's like, do you want this hair oil? Yes, we do want this hair oil.
And you can see people do it in really creative ways. Like, and even people are I think it's less of a faux pas on TikTok than it is on any other platform. Maybe this is a hot take, to do things unrelated to your niche. Mm-hmm. Because you're actually just getting views. So there's this company, and I don't actually even know what they sell, which is not good, right?
Is it Framework?
Is it the guy that the Tinder messages?
Yeah, Matt and French. French, by the way, if you're watching.
Dead.
I actually was thinking about this the other day because, or maybe it was today on the plane.
But what did they sell? What
somebody commented on, they did one today that was just them dancing. And somebody commented on it being like, the fact that I have no idea what you guys sell. And like everybody liked it. It was like the top liked comment. And I think it's like actually low-key genius marketing.
100%.
Because they never talk about what they sell. Their videos are hilarious. They're so entertaining. Everyone's obsessed with these men. And I did go to their website.
But what do they sell? Do you know?
It's like hair. I think they sell, it's something to do with hair, but I think it's hairstyling tools like for hairstylists. I don't think it's like for the general public. It could be.
So this girl gets her bosses. And this is so funny because I actually sent this to our small team because I don't want to turn YouTube comments on because people say gross stuff and I can't have Ben on our team read these things about us. Like it would actually like sicken me, so I just can't do it. And so I was like, YouTube comments off. And I was like, watch this video and I was like, this is how I would feel if I was one of them. Like where like they give him the phone and he's reading these like dirty messages. Like
it's basically this girl she's probably Gen Z, she's probably around 20, and she makes her bosses who are like in their 30s read her Tinder messages. Sometimes she gets them to read book talk quotes, like spicy quotes from, book talks or whatever. What are some of the other ones? She gets them to do all kinds of hilarious stuff.
Like, it's so funny. But, okay, that would never fly on Instagram.
It would never fly on Instagram.
Because you actually wouldn't know. People are not, I don't think, looking, like, especially, and maybe I'm wrong.
I don't think so.
But, like, I think people, like, want more clarity on Instagram. It will not fly on LinkedIn. But, like, on Instagram, I think people want more clarity. Well, TikTok, people are more okay to be entertained. We all get sucked into these, like, recipes, and we get sucked into these people's stories. And then these people, like, you find it even with all these TikTokers that have become, like, famous, TikTok famous, they're starting podcasts. Mm-hmm. Because they're trying to monetize in a different way because they know that monetizing on TikTok might not be the way.
Yeah. I think, too, on Instagram, people, I think they're just, like, trying to vet you when they're like, looking for your business. Or even if you're, like, going to go to a new restaurant, you want to just, like, go check it out on Instagram. You want it to be professional. You want it to, look great. You want to get some value from it. You want it to just be like a little bit more pristine. On TikTok, it's kind of like Wild Wild West. It's like you almost want it to be more like raw, authentic, kind of behind the scenes. But I think they've just done such a great job of they are building know, like, and trust.
Yeah.
And it's so, I feel like this is the way that sales is moving. This like low key, passive, like, we're here and want to buy something from us? Like, the link's in the bio, but you're really gonna have to go look for it, and that has not been the way that we've taught people to do things on Instagram, and I still think Instagram is not, gone down that road yet, but I think it's so interesting how different things are over there on TikTok.
Mm-hmm. Which is such an example of, like, so you kind of said this earlier, this idea of, like, partying where your people are, because it's such an example of the fact that, like, we actually don't need to be everywhere, and we can do things from the perspective of it being, like, I don't know, like, good for us, good for our business, like, and not being on every platform. And, like, even Lex Roman, who's a friend of mine, and I know you're connected with her too, she is, like, very anti-social media. And I'm always like, what? Like, why? And she's like, I don't like it. I spend too much time on it. It's not helpful. I do other things to market. And she's doing, like, all stuff with email newsletters right now, which is really cool. But for us, it's like, we have seen really good success on Instagram, and we know that that's where our people are. So actually, why wouldn't we just double down on that? See what Threads has to offer. See what other things have to offer. Rather than be on a platform neither of us like creating for.
Amen, sister. So glad I brought you over to the dark side.
Well, it's funny because I actually, like, in theory, do like making videos, but it's not practical for the amount of time we have.
Yeah.
And I think that's something else you need to think about as a business owner if you're listening to this, is that, like, you're likely not a content creator. You might be, and that's awesome for you. But if you're not a content creator, it can be challenging.
Yeah. Well, I think as a business owner, your most valuable asset is your time.
Yeah.
So you really have to be careful where you spend it. And if you're going to spend it making a TikTok every day, and that's really going to benefit your business, and it's going to, move the needle, great, do it. But if it's not, you should not be making a TikTok every day.
Mm-hmm. Well, and I think TikTok is like Pinterest in the sense that, okay, so TikTok, I have seen people's businesses blow up overnight, right? Where someone goes viral, but you cannot depend on that.
And also, going viral doesn't mean your business is going to blow up.
Yeah.
Necessarily. It could, but
I've also seen people with TikToks, and this is an interesting thing because I went to that TikTok event with all those influencers who don't have good funnels. Not those influencers. I'm not saying they don't have a good funnel, but, like, that was something we talked about where I was kind of like, how do you make money elsewhere? Like, what would happen if everything kind of went dark? Like, would it be okay, kind of thing? I don't know that it would, and so it's hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, what advice would you have for the people who are partying all over the place, trying to figure out where to party? What advice can we give them from people who I think have tried pretty much every platform?
Yeah, so I think if you're in a situation where you feel like you've tried everything and nothing's worked, I'm struggling with how to say this in a nice way.
Just say it.
You should join the Social Business Club.
Woo!
But, like, that kind of thing, like, you need some help, like, with your social, in the same way that if I tried to play hockey every single way and I didn't know how to play hockey, I would hire a hockey coach, because there is a way to sell on social for everything, and in one platform you will be able to sell. So, we work with a client, and she does, like, forestry education. She shouldn't be on TikTok. Like, that's not a good spot for her. Not that she wants to be. She's thriving on LinkedIn, and that's awesome. We have other clients where, they do so well on Instagram and TikTok, and they're super successful. We've had clients want to invest in TikTok and us say, like, we don't know that there's going to be an ROI there. Yeah. So I think it's really about, like, if you feel like you've tried everything on every platform, like, getting some help, even if it's not from us, like, to help you figure out, but we'd love to help you, and to help you figure out exactly what to do, I think would make a big difference. But the other thing is if you're on every platform and you're not seeing success in certain platforms because your people aren't there, or your community is not there, then what I would say is really try to figure out, like, can you reinvest that time? Mm-hmm. There's nothing wrong with cross-posting on everything. We love Later. We use Later all the time. And, we cross-post to most things. Like, we could cross-post to TikTok.
Yeah, we could.
We just choose not to.
We were for a while.
Yeah, and it was costly. Time-wise.
Yeah. It was.
You know, and then so it's just not worth it.
Mm-hmm.
And we weren't seeing results from it. And instead of spending that time, like our assistant spending all that time cross-posting all that stuff to TikTok, well, is it better for us to be doing some cold LinkedIn stuff? Is it better for us to be doing some Instagram traffic stuff? Should we do more engagement on Instagram, or we have a really warm community?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. That's what would be my advice. Would be like, don't feel the pressure to kind of party everywhere, and it's really easy to. People see great success on TikTok. Make sure if you are successful on TikTok that you have a really good funnel into something else. Every platform you're on, you should be trying to build your email list.
Mm-hmm.
That should be like top of mind. But what about you? What would you say to someone who's like comes to you and they're like, man, I really want to try TikTok?
Well, first of all, I love your first point, because I think if you're struggling on social and you feel like it's not working, no matter what you do, and you're banging your head against the wall, there are so many things it could be.
Yeah.
Right? Like, and so if you're like, oh, if you're, blaming yourself, I'm not a good content creator, or I'm not this, or I'm not that, it could just be one small thing that you need to tweak. Maybe it's your lead magnet, maybe it's your funnel, maybe it's the quality of your content creation, maybe it's your messaging, maybe it's who you're talking to, maybe it's the way you're talking to them. Like, there are so many things, so many pieces that kind of need to fit into place in order to have a successful social strategy. And that's why I love the Social Business Club, because we get to just dive really deep in with people and help them figure out where they can kind of improve in which area. But I think my advice for people who are wondering what the heck to do, or whether you feel like nothing's working or you haven't tried anything, you don't know where to start. Number one, I would say go with your intuition in terms of where do you think your ideal client likes to hang out. If you were them, where would you be hanging out? What kind of content would you like to be consuming? How would you like to be sold to? How would you like to be given the information? What kind of information would you want? I think a lot of the time we go really, at least I do, I tend to go very educational. That's not what people want all of the time. Sometimes people want to be entertained. Sometimes people want to laugh. There's a lot of other things that you can do to add value other than just educate people. So going down that rabbit hole of following your intuition in terms of where you think your ideal client is and what you think they would want to see. And then just trying stuff.
Yeah.
I'm a big, save your energy kind of gal. So I personally would probably go like one at a time and just start with the one that I think would be the
and you do
most
that.
Successful. Yeah. Do I?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're on Instagram.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm sorry, I haven't seen you on LinkedIn.
I was going to say, even today, Christy was like, send me these pictures and I'll post them on LinkedIn for you. Thank you. I will not be posting them on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
But for me, if I were to try to do all of those things, none of them would be done well. In fact, none of them might be done at all, because I would probably just get overwhelmed and be like, well, can't do this. Too stressed, too overwhelmed. It's too much, right? So, but it also depends on your personality. If you're the type of person who has, a good 12 hours a day and you have of output, Miss Christina,
I do.
feel free to try a few more.
Yeah, I do have a good 12 hours of input, output, but not for TikTok, unfortunately. Yeah. I need to see, and this is a thing I think business owners do struggle with, and I'm one of them, so I'm just going to name it. I need to see some results for me to keep doing things. It's like, I'm totally the, eat a salad, where are my abs kind of situation. I need to see good results from, that can't be the clip.
I was just thinking that.
Clip it. But I need to see some results, and I think we've seen some movement in our business lately around areas that we haven't seen as much movement as we were expecting, or our email list hasn't grown as much as we thought it might, and things like that where we really need to be more focused. And then other things where we're like, oh, we've lost some focus here. Mm-hmm. And I just interviewed Jordan Gill from Systems Save Me, and we talked about this, and she said she had one offer that she sold over and over again for years.
Wow, I love that.
And she's like, I did nothing else.
I love that.
Right? And so it's so easy for us to be doing so many things, but if you don't have community on any of those platforms, it's actually just not worth posting. Because if you're not going to engage with people, and you're not going to talk to people, and you're not going to connect with people, then it's not going to really be worth the time, I don't think.
Yeah, and that's, I think, the piece that drains your energy, and that's why, at least for me, it's hard to be everywhere all at once. I love to just pour into one platform, build community there, have conversations. It's just one place that you kind of have to check off the list. But I think it's hard. It's hard to choose. Actually, Is our quiz still live?
Our quiz is live. You're the one who's trying to kill the quiz. I want the quiz to live.
It's still there. If anyone would like to take it, it tells
Can't take it down now.
tells you which platform you should be on if you're struggling to pick one.
It was pre-Threads, so Threads isn't on there.
Threads is not an option, but the rest of them are.
Have you ever logged into Threads?
Yeah.
Oh.
I created an account once, and I don't think I logged in ever again. Although sometimes they'll like put them on Instagram, sometimes they'll get me.
Yeah.
It's usually you. I'm like, what does the rest of this say? So then I'll open it. But other than that, no, I don't even know if I have a profile picture on there. But I love your famous saying of success leaves clues. So
Oh, I have to say I did not make that up, and that is about fitness.
it's about fitness?
Yes.
How?
Because it's like when you work out, like DeVore used to say this all the time. Coach DeVore, he says this. He's like, when you work out and you eat well, success leaves clues. Like you start to see results. So I have to tell you guys, I didn't come up with success leaves clues, but success does leave clues.
She has a guilty conscience over there.
I had to. I couldn't. You could be like you always say. Like I'm Dr. Seuss. Anyway.
You do always say it.
Yeah, I do always say it.
I love it. I think it's great.
Yeah,
because like just pick up on what's working and like maybe try a few out for a few weeks and kind of see what gains traction, where people are resonating.
Yeah.
Also look at your competitors. Where are they posting? What are they up to? What's working for them? Their success also leaves clues, right?
Yeah. All of our success leaves clues. Greatness sees greatness. The new one.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Christina Bartelt Segura. Trademark.
I don't think I said it. No, but the truth of it is that like if you're seeing success on social in some capacity, like keep trying to replicate that success, right? Like we're seeing it even with people on Reels, and people do this on TikTok all the time. They use the same video with different text, and they're testing. And so even like for us, right? Like if we could post a reel and something does really well, the messaging does really well. Like I'll see even with our team, like our team does awesome. Like we have our own social media manager on our team. But like sometimes I'm like, oh, that didn't hit because that wasn't a hook.
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting. Oh, people love, we posted, not us, Sierra, posted this picture of you and me that said Happy Friday. And we had our team internal marketing meeting and we're like, what performed the best last month? And she was like, this weird photo where your hands are raised and you're saying Happy Friday. Lots of comments there. Sierra, little sweet angel. And I was like, oh, right? Like, because people love to buy from people. So I think the other thing with TikTok, too, just like my last thought on it, too, is that it's really hard to build community with that much competition. And there isn't as much of a space for, like, your people.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you can DM with people, but it's harder because you need to be following them. The friends thing, no one's watching the friends thing. You're always watching the For You. Yeah. So, like, every once in a while, I'll go on the friends. It's just Jeanette posting. So I'm like, I'm going in there, and I'm liking. I'm a good friend, Jeanette. I got you. Jeanette's my only active. It's just Jeanette. Jeanette's my only active TikTok friend.
That's so funny.
It's Jeanette, and then a lot of recipes that I follow, and golden retrievers.
Golden retrievers. I was gonna say, there's no way dogs aren't making that list.
Yeah, dogs are on there. But so all of those things are just like that's what I kind of go for, right? And so I start to see those things over and over again, but I would never buy anything from any of these. Maybe I'd buy something from Jeanette, but like I would never buy anything from any of these people. Like I don't have enough know, like, and trust with them. Mm-hmm. But with Instagram, you're showing up in their stories, you're DMing with them, you're engaging with them. LinkedIn, you're messaging them, you're connecting with them, you're showing up in their feed. I don't know. I think TikTok's just a lot colder, but I think if you're naturally entertaining, like you love to entertain, I think if you have a cool product and you're willing to be kind of innovative with the way you show up online, and I think if you're okay, like to not see results for a long time to see a big result, I think TikTok could be for you. It's just not for us.
I think it's also good for influencers.
Yeah.
I don't know if any of those are listening, but I feel like that is where a lot of the buying happens on TikTok when people have their little Amazon storefront or their like to know it or whatever the heck that thing's called. I feel 100 every time I say
It is called like to know it, isn't it?
Is that what it is? I always feel like there's another it in there, like it to know it.
We did this on another podcast episode too. We are 95 years old. Like, it's nuts. But this is actually a really good point, is that we are 95 years old, very solidly. And actually, this is hilarious, but my husband Josh, his cousins were over from Nashville. We were having this whole conversation. Have you ever heard of being rizzed? Yeah. Oh, you have. Okay.
Do you know about Riz?
But it's off of charisma.
Oh, I didn't know that. I knew what it meant, but I didn't know it was based on charisma.
I'm like, what? What, guys? Guys, what?
It's really hard to keep up with the youth.
I know. I never know what anything means.
This is another good point, though, because, like, if you're feeling like us, where you feel like 95, TikTok's probably not the best place for you because it's, like, very keeping up with the trends. And, like, that's the reason those guys on Frameart do so well is because that 20-year-old brilliant woman is leading the strategy. There's also, have you seen that plastic surgeon who also has, I don't know if she's 20, but a younger social media manager that, like, makes him do all these crazy dances and, like, he does, like, Kim Kardashian voiceovers. I'll try and find it so we can link it in the show notes. It's hilarious, and these videos get, like, millions of views, and everybody knows the social media manager's name and is commenting, like, I think it's, like, Savannah or something, like, we love Savannah, like, give Savannah a raise, like, because all of the videos are so funny, but it's these younger, the youth, that are, you know.
The youth.
that are.
That used to be us.
That used to be us. A month ago, I officially have left that.
I know. I was 95. You were still 29.
That group.
Okay, but this also reminds me of the Duolingo girl.
Mm-hmm.
Where, like, they get this person to dress up as a bird, and they, like, make jokes all the time. Like, and that's funny, and people are so into it. But you have to be willing to do that.
Yeah, and that has to be your, like, vibe and style. Like, you know, like, funny, doing the trends. Like,
I'm too serious for it.
It's just not our vibe. We're not meant for it. You're a LinkedIn girly at heart, for sure.
How can I be a LinkedIn girly and a TikTok star?
You can.
Name one.
You can. And it's okay. We don't have to be all things, and we won't be all things. So I think that's a good, you know, take home. Is like lean into what feels good for you, and that's probably also what feels good for your ideal client, because a lot of the times our ideal clients are past versions of us. And let that be okay. We don't have to be TikTok stars, guys. In fact, we won't be.
We won't be. So you heard it here first. In 2024, and we also retired it in 2023, I think, as well.
Yeah. We've been gone.
We've been gone for years. It's been years. But we are retired from TikTok, and we wish TikTok well. We just will not be on it for anything but our clients.
Bye. And as users. I do find it helpful as a user because you see the trends before they get to Instagram.
And we get to see some really cute doggos.
Cute doggos.
Cute doggos.
Although, I don't know. The Chinese government might be tracking us.
That's how we get all the dogs. Anyway, we might edit that
out. Fair enough.
Okay, love you, Mara. This is so fun.
Love ya. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Thanks so much for listening to Community with me, Christina Bartold, and I'm just so excited to continue the conversations. If you're looking to grow your community and learn more about social, join us at thesocialbusinessclub.ca and use the code podcast to get your first month for $1. Share this episode with your friends and on social, or leave a review. It means the world.